Good evening, y'all. This is Spencer Keck coming at you live, the Hillbilly Think Tank, from here in Tunnel Hills, Kentucky, Hardin County, Kentucky. And I am the educated hillbilly. That's not an oxymoron. Don't call me a moron. So here in Tunnel Hills, we are dedicated to the promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I am dedicated to service with honor. Nothing is better for the soul than serving our neighbors with love and compassion and care. Hey, y'all, if you haven't heard, Major Ojeda won the nomination for his party's primary for Congress in North Carolina. Hooah, airborne sappers. Yeah, now we're going to get those Epstein files. Now, so I hear many folks saying, I didn't vote for $4 gasoline. I voted for cheaper eggs. Or I didn't vote for a new war in the Middle East and bombing 8 countries, different countries in 12 months. No, that's not what I voted for. I voted for no wars. Well, others are saying I voted to incarcerate and castrate billionaire child molesters, not reward them with billion-dollar government contracts so they can buy their 10th luxury yacht, their 12th luxury house in Palm Beach or Malibu. But hey, we told you about this stuff. We warned you. Sometimes folks just got to freak around and find out. Well, y'all, I'm not forgetting. I think many of us now realize we're not forgetting. Now, reports are out that folks are forgetting about the files because this war is distracting us. Is that the case? Thomas Massey said, hey, no matter how many wars you start, we won't forget about the Epstein files. But apparently there is a short attention span for that type of thing if there's a war going on. And Captain Bone Spurs knows it. But in case we forget, here is why cosplaying cunt Christy Nome was fired and crying for her blankie.
A Vox article, the mess that Christy Nome made.
Without objection.
Times article, Nome's spending rule causes delays at Homeland Security.
Without objection.
Politico, vote to overhaul FEMA canceled after leaked report.
Without objection.
ProPublica, Christy Nome misled Congress about top aide's role at DHS.
Without objection.
The Hill, Trump approval rating on immigration at record low.
Without objection.
Wall Street Journal, pilot fired over Christy Nome's missing blanket.
Without objection.
CNN article, sources describe how Homeland Security Secretary Christy Nome's Gucci bag was stolen under her chair.
Without objection.
New York Times, late night is distracted by Christy Nome's oversized hats. That one's my favorite. And a Times article, some Republicans join calls for DHS Secretary Christy Nome to step down.
Without objection.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate your indulgence. Before I begin, first let me say to the families that are still here, I am very sorry for your loss. I watched parents in my hometown of Parkland bury their kids after the shooting at my high school at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and I can't tell you that it was an out-of-body experience, and there's nothing like burying a child. So I am deeply sorry for your loss. Madam Secretary, welcome. Good afternoon. Thomas Massey mentioned Ron DeSantis' response during COVID. Well, you're looking at the guy who ran that response. I was the Director of Emergency Management for the state of Florida. For a Republican governor, I worked with the Trump FEMA administration during the Category 5 Hurricane Michael recovery. That Trump's FEMA was great. We got expedited reimbursement, a program that you got rid of or threatened to get rid of. And the Panhandle had one of the greatest responses after that Category 5 storm. President said he wanted to reform FEMA, but that's not what you did. You've basically destroyed the agency. Largest FEMA backlog in the history of FEMA. My state of Florida is owed $2.5 billion. You have delayed the FEMA disaster declarations even when the applicants meet FEMA statutory threshold under the Stafford Act. You want states to do more, yet you want to cut the EMPG program, which grants them funding to build capacity. Your office was involved in discussions of moving FEMA to Texas. You created a rule of anything over $100,000 has to come to your desk, a rule that has slowed down FEMA reimbursement, FEMA response. We have empty regional offices. You have done the opposite of what President Trump wanted to accomplish, which was to speed up the process. Your policies have made the department slower. I didn't think it was possible to make FEMA more bureaucratic, but boy, you have exceeded all my expectations. In the Texas floods, you didn't put the urban search and rescue crews on the road for 72 hours. Days later, the FEMA urban search and rescue chief resigned in protest. You hired 2 people as the administrator with no FEMA experience. We're on our 3rd FEMA administrator in 14 months. Never in the history of the department has that ever happened. The president took presidential action to create the FEMA Council. I supported it. You opposed the FEMA Council. You delayed its beginning. The report has still not come out. The White House canceled your last council meeting and has held up the release of the report. But surprise, I have it. I have it. I want to thank the former FEMA employees that you fired who gave this to me. This report's never been seen in public before, okay? But this is it. This was the report. It was 122 pages, the original draft report. You and Corey Lewandowski then took the report and made it 23 pages. You cut out all the stuff that was put in by governors who had been through disasters, emergency management directors, FEMA experts, national security experts. You cut it all out. It's all gone. That's why the report's not been released. Sitting in the White House trying to figure out this mess that you created. So instead of getting the recommendations we need, now we have nothing. You've called Corey Lewandowski a special government employee. I understand what government means. I understand what employee means, okay? But I don't know what makes him special. Now, I want to give you an opportunity to answer on the record to Ms. Camlonger-Dove's question. I know you said it's garbage, and it may be, but I really think you need to say the word no into the record so that you can clear that up.
I think the ridiculousness of this and the tabloids that you are quoting and referencing are insane. And this has been
So that's a no?
something that I've refuted
Is
for
that a no?
years, and I continue to do that.
So it's a
what I
no.
would tell you is
We
when
can move
you
on.
charge
Hold on.
what you're
Madam Senator,
doing.
we can move on. I'm not going to belabor it. If it's
This is what you do.
Hold on,
Socialist,
I'm not doing anything.
liberal left
Okay.
is you go off and you
I-
attack
I was-
conservative women
I was-
and you say that we're either stupid
I haven't
or
said
we're
anything.
sluts.
All right, so listen.
And that's what you do.
Yesterday,
I will tell
Richard,
you, sir,
we're claiming
I will
my
tell
time,
you,
Mr.
sir,
Chairman.
I am
Mr. Chairman,
neither
we're
of
claiming my
those.
time.
I
You
am
were asked
neither
by
of
Richard
those.
Blumenthal
This is from
yesterday.
the
You were
playbook
asked
inside
by
the
Richard
Democratic
Blumenthal
Party.
yesterday if Corey was involved in approving contracts. You said no. Do you want to correct that?
What I would say is that he has an advisor to the Department of Homeland Security, has no
Madam
decision-making
Secretary, do you want to correct it? Yes or no? You
no,
don't want to correct
no
it? Fine.
decision-making authority,
hold
no
on.
role in
Not a
contract.
problem. According to one of the FEMA administrators that you fired, there is nothing, including contracts, that is brought to you that he hasn't reviewed. In fact, a significant amount of DHS internal routing documents has his signature on it above deputy secretaries. Okay? That former FEMA administrator wasn't fired by you, the secretary. He was fired by Corey. It was Corey that called him into your office. It was Corey that made him submit to a polygraph test. Being held up by you, they had to bring in Tom Holman, pull out of Minnesota. I think the country needs a national divorce from you on biblical grounds. I mean, if Donald Trump was still apprentice Trump, he would look at you and he would realize you're the weakest cabinet member and he would fire you. And if the president said to you that only way DHS could reopen is if you resigned, I hope you would take him up on it. Now, I want to end on a happy note, Mr. Chairman, real quickly. The president gave all sorts of stuff out during the State of the Union. I don't want you to leave. I got you a new Coast Guard blankie, the one you lost. Okay, so this is for you. You don't leave empty-handed when you come to judiciary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman has expired. The gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
So, y'all. All right. What do we think about that? She got her blankie back. And her new job is special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, Western Hemisphere. So that's supposedly going to be about what? Fighting drugs? She must be the one that decided to bomb Ecuador, because last we heard, U.S. and Ecuador were working together to fight drug cartels. Did she decide, oh, we might as well just bomb them instead? It would be a comedy if it wasn't so horrible. But y'all, in the meantime, the gilded class, Epstein class, is telling us that, This kind of talk is class warfare, and we should cut it out. And when it has been them attacking us for the past 50 years in their attempt to usurp American rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's time for Republicans, independents, and Democrats to put aside the hatred for each other and focus on the Epstein class. Epstein class just want to toss us this hand-me-down hatred. It's old hat, old shirts. We don't need that crap. We know they're the problem. The Epstein class, the gilded class, is the problem. So, as we toss away this hatred, we've got to be united. We've got to stand up and say, we're not going to anymore elect people that are gaslighting facilitators for the Epstein class. That's all there is to it. No matter how many wars they start, how many countries they decide to bomb, do not elect any person that is a gaslighting facilitator. DC is full of elected officials that are profiting from prostituting themselves to that Epstein class. So, all the same while they're trying to tell us they're working for us. They're not working for us. Vote them out. They're not the business gurus that they tell you they are. They're not the farming gurus they want to try to tell you they are. Not at all. If they were, we wouldn't have had a trade war with our most important partner, Canada, our most important ally closest to us on the border, Canada. We would not have made an enemy of them, the country that buys so much of our beef, our soy, our bourbon. Come on, Kentucky. We got to get our bourbon market back. We can't let one of our mainstay industries go south as much as it is right now. We've got to help one another. That's all this is about. We got to be here for one another. Vote them out. Straight up and down the ticket. Start from the bottom up. Now, I'm not a fortunate son, but I am blessed by living in a county and a state that believe in united we stand, divided we fall. I will stand with you against the voices that try to pit us once again, one against another. Here in Hardin County, Kentucky, we know that to build community, you have to have a strong vision for this county's future. Strong counties make a strong state. Now, this reminds me, today, Captain Bone Spurs bombed Ecuador, as we said earlier. Again, that's our 8th country that's been bombed. But at the same time, Captain Bone Spurs once again glibly tells us that some more heroes are going to die. Right after 6 were killed in Kuwait. And then he callously says, that is war. Well, we have enlistment papers drafted for Baron Trump. He needs to get into the front lines of the infantry. He needs to be the first ashore. Get him into Marine Corps officer candidate school this month and then send him off to the officer infantry training. Get him into that infantry. And he's not 6'9", like they try to tell us. He's only 6'7". He's only 2 inches taller than me. And I did a whole career with the hospital corps, serving with Marine infantry, Marine special operations, plenty of ships, plenty of clinics, places overseas, here in America, combat zone. Being 6'5" was never too much. Another 2 inches wouldn't have killed me. So if I can do it, Baron Trump can do it. You know, once he gets that infantry training, head him to the front lines. That's all we need. But is he man enough to do what no Trump male has ever done? since the Trump family immigrated to the United States of America. Now, also 19-year-old Barron Trump just spent $30 million to buy oil before the war with Iran started. This is insider trading. Insider trading is illegal. His sister's husband's dad knows all about that because he spent time in jail for it. $30 million a 19-year-old spent on oil right before the war started. If that's not the epitome of the Epstein class that we're talking about, tell me what is. What is? Tell me. Now, please, if you're one of those folks that, was bamboozled by Tulsi Gabbard, Stephen Miller, Putin, Netanyahu, Captain Bone Spurs, when they said, hey, we're never going to start a war. It's not too late to realize it's time for buyer's remorse, and you can vote to correct all of this. Midterms are coming up. The Epstein class is very worried now. So worried that they will go to war to keep all of our eyes off of the files. They have subverted the Constitution, and without a declaration of war from Congress, we are at war. We're in multiple hemispheres, bombing, fighting. Come on, guys. We need folks that are actually going to fight for our state, for our county, for our districts. No more of this subversion of the Constitution. No more of this Epstein class with no ethics. No ethics at all. Don't talk to me about family values if you are not doing anything and everything you can to get your congressman, congresswoman, senator to take out the Epstein class. These guardians of the pedophiles have got to go. So, what do we say? We've got plenty of good candidates that are not guardians of the pedophiles. They're not guardians of the Epstein class. We don't need any more cosplay cunt Christy Gnomes. We don't need any more folks to go run shield for the pedophiles like Pam Bondi does, like Kash Patel does. So please, if you would, like and subscribe to this channel, make some comments, tell your friends about it, get them to subscribe. Remember, I am running for Magistrate District 3. If you vote for me, that's going to be a vote for Hardin County values, for folks that know what it means to work hard for their money, not to have $30 million handed to you at 19 years of age to go buy oil before a war starts so that you quadruple your investment overnight. That's not Hardin County values. None of us here can do that. But y'all, remember, that is what freaking around and finding out will do for us. All right, who we got on here tonight? Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan says that family is full of cowards. Amen. Not one of these Trump sons has volunteered to join the military and to go through officer candidate school or enlisted infantry training. Not a single one. Daughters haven't either. Many generations this family's been in this country, and they've always avoided going to pay the price of freedom by putting on a uniform. It's time that Barron Trump now go put on a uniform. Plenty of people have his enlistment papers ready for him to sign. And again, he's not 6'9", he's 6'7", just slightly taller than me. He can do it. Or can he? I don't think he's man enough to. I don't think any of them are. I think they're all cosplay fools themselves. All right, y'all. Remember, here in Kentucky, united we stand, divided we fall. We love our neighbors as ourselves, and we know that we are our brother's keeper. We are our sister's keeper. And when we do that, there's no way we can be divided, so there's no way we can fall. Y'all, bless your corazon. Have a great evening, a great weekend. Remember those deployed for us. Have a great weekend.